For more analysis on all of this, I'm joined in studio by Sami-Al-Arian. He's the director of the Center for Islam and Global Affairs at Istanbul Sabahat Zaim University. Sami, thank you so much for joining us again. We've been listening to our correspondents there, mainly from the US and London, talking about the Western reaction. And it's interesting because all of the reaction that has come by the United States has said there needs to be de-escalation. However, Israel has the right to defend itself. It's something we hear all the time.
It's the most rhetoric that we've been hearing since October 7th and even beyond. We have to understand that Israel is a Western construct. It has been supported and backed by Western countries, starting with Britain and now the United States, its major benefactor and patron. So all these countries, the Western countries, United States, England, France, Germany, and others, are trying to basically back the Israeli genocide in Gaza, as well as Israel's aggression today against Iran. Nothing is new here and nothing is strange. They have been supporting it. They know fully well that Israel has at least 100 to 400 nuclear weapons. No one is saying anything about it. And when Iran, with zero evidence of having any kind of a weapon program in terms of nuclear weapon program, they are ganging up against it, even though everybody knows that it's Israel that is aggressed on it.
Why does Israel and the United States and other parts of the world view Iran as a threat to Israel? Is it based, okay, maybe not so much now on the nuclear stuff. As you say, there's been no evidence that they actually have a nuclear weapon. We know they may have the capability of having one. But is it based on rhetoric from Iran's leaders? I'm just trying to put this into context for viewers who may not understand the dynamics of the region or the long-standing history and animosity between Israel and Iran.
Israel wants to be the hegemon in the region. It wants to be stronger than any other regime, even all the regimes combined. It also wants to be the only real independent state. In other words, all other states have to come under its rule, its control of the region. The United States backs it with that. The United States wants Israel to be very strong because Israel represents the beachhead, the military base for the United States to safeguard its interests in the region. And any country that is willing to challenge U.S. hegemony and U.S. and Israeli hegemony in the region is going to be dealt with as an enemy, and that's what Iran has been. Iran has been a foe of both of them because it's trying to become an independent ever since it overthrew the Shah in its revolution, and ever since the United States is unable to get Iran to bend to its wishes and its policies. Iran is supportive of the Palestinian struggle. It has been supportive since the revolution now for over 4 decades. And Israel doesn't like that. Israel wants Iran to become as compliant as other regimes in the region, as compliant as the Shah was before he was overthrown in 1979.
So that's part of Israel's aim, is possibly with these strikes, is possible regime change in Iran, leadership change at all?
It is the goal of the Netanyahu government and the Israeli regime, as well as the United States, not just to change the policy on the nuclear issue from Iran. Now their appetite is that they want regime change. And they have been working on regime change for decades and they have failed. I think it's going to be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to have regime change in Iran for the simple reason this regime is very entrenched. Its legitimacy came from a revolution. It has millions of people supporting it. It's not just a junta that is ruling the country or an elite, an oligarch ruling the country that can easily be overthrown like they did with Saddam. I think this is going to be a tall order that will not be met. And therefore, we may be facing a war of attrition for many, many weeks to come. Mm-hmm. And I think if Iran does not break, and if Iran can sustain itself the same way it sustained itself for over 8 years, when Saddam invaded Iran back in September 1980, then Israel's power and hegemony and all these vain ambitions will be checked.
What happens next in terms of this nuclear deal that the US has been trying to get Iran to sign? They're meant to meet on Sunday, but this, of course, means that that may not happen. And one would think that this would be the 6th round of talks. The fact that it's gotten that far surely should have been seen as a sign that it was progressing. Even though it was slowly progressing, there was some progress at all, that it could lead to a final positive outcome.
Could have, but now it's no longer the case. It's dead, I believe. I don't think this is going to be revived again. I think that's over. I think after what happened today, there is no way Iran's going to go back and trust anything that the United States is going to offer or say. I think that's done. I think what we're facing here today is an issue, an existential threat for Iran, whether its leadership, whether its regime would be sustained, would exist or not. And I think Israel is intent on changing this regime by all means, and this regime will fight to the bitter end. And I don't believe the Israelis will get their way. The United States couldn't even change the Houthis in Yemen. They had to actually withdraw from that fight. And therefore, I think we're going to have very tough times in this region in terms of the tit for tat. It's not going to be a grand war, so no one is going to be an eventual winner. But I think whoever will have the fortitude and the resistance spirit to withstand this war of attrition will win the day.
Thank you very much, as always, for your analysis, Sami-Al-Arian, in studio with us.